I am a Charr. In this world of constant battle, I am the deadliest weapon of all. I respect no authority but the clenched fist of my legion. With engines of destruction, we have killed our gods. We reclaimed our homeland of Ascalon, and we planted victory banners on the graves of our enemies. Yet, if we waver, it could slip through our claws. Victory, at any cost. I live and die where secrets hide. I thrive where danger dwells. I'm a soldier in the service of the Ash Legion. I am the blade in the darkness. I've earned the respect of my comrades, and forged alliances I can call on in times of need. My legion teaches stealth, patience, deception. We fight where the Citadel commands, but only to aid the Ash Legion's cause. Today, the Black Citadel's combined army will assault the ghosts that plague this land. I've been assigned to reinforce the bulwark. Let the Blood Legion charge blindly to their deaths. Let the Iron Legion build their machines of war. You will find me in the shadows. This is my story.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 10 of my Guild Wars 2 Let's Play. Today we are starting off on a brand new adventure. Last episode we finished up chapter 3 of the human personal story, and today we are going to go ahead and begin our journey through the Charr personal story. Let's go ahead and talk to this legionnaire here. And she says, just in time, soldier. The ghost army's been bashing that gate for weeks. They finally broken through. Fight your way to the front and report to Centurion Chris Knife for orders. And I can say for the legions. And let's go ahead and fight our way to the front. So we are beginning off with a brand new character. And today I decided to play a Charr thief. Let's go ahead and fight all these ghosts here. So with Charr, we are going to learn a bunch of new stories, and we're going to see some really cool locations from the original Guild Wars 1.
Somebody get me up so I can die. I need your help, soldier. Tribune Brimstone has ordered me to the crypt, but I'm too torn up to make it. What's so important that the Blood Legion Tribune is there? The ghost of Duke Beriton is far more powerful than we thought. His army just broke through our defenses. Ritlock's about to fight him head-on. If he succeeds, it'll be weeks before the ghost reforms, and we can rebuild our perimeter. On my way.
So we can see at the very start of the story here, there is a big issue with Ascalonian ghosts. So there's ghosts that are here fighting the Charr, and they're attacking the gates of the Black Citadel, which is the home of the Charr. And we're going to go ahead and launch a counter-offensive against these ghosts with Tribune Ritlock Brimstone, who's a very important character, who is equivalent to Logan Thackeray from the human personal story. Let's go ahead and come down here. And then, actually, I might wait up a little bit here, and let's go ahead and fight some ghosts. So in the original Guild Wars 1, the story started in the region of the world known as Ascalon, which is this region of the world, and you play as an Ascalonian human who starts off in a very peaceful, serene Ascalon, and it gets attacked by the Charr. So thousands of years prior to Guild Wars 1, the Charr lived here in these lands of Ascalon, and the humans came in and basically conquered the Charr and drove them out of the lands, and the Charr became kind of like a group of savage tribes that were ran by a cult of sorcerers known as the Flame Legion, and that basically controlled them and manipulated them into believing false ideologies and basically just controlled all of the Charr tribes. But they were eventually able to break into Ascalon and were able to take over the lands of Ascalon, and there we see the Guild Wars 1 story unfold. And we see after the events of Guild Wars 1 where the humans are still kind of defending Ascalon against the Charr and are kind of trying to like retake it from the Charr. The king of Ascalon, King Adalburn, basically cast the curse upon the lands that destroyed all of the invading Charr and turned all of the humans into ghosts. And we now have these lands here that are filled with Ascalonian ghosts. The Charr who came in after that have to fight all of them over and over again because they keep rematerializing after they die. And it is a very big issue for the Charr, and we can see here we are going to fight against this issue. The lands around here are really cool because it is home to a bunch of familiar locations for those that played Guild Wars 1 that we will go ahead and look around and see those different places. Let's go ahead and come in here and fight this ghost, and then let's follow the Charr that are coming this way, and we can see Rithlock Brimstone here.
Who's in charge? We're going to hit Baradin so hard it'll take him weeks to reappear. Move out!
So we now have to kill Baradin's ghostly minions, where there are 4 different waves of ghosts we need to fight, and we can see the statue of Duke Baradin right here. Let's go ahead and fight these ones that are coming in. Similar to the human personal story, we start off in a tutorial instance here, but of course it's different people in a different region of the world with a different story, but it's still kind of the same thing where we are being introduced into the game. We only have 2 skills on our skill bar right now. We will learn more as we go forward. I decided to make a thief, so I was playing a guardian, which is a very heavy armored martial and spell user, but now I am playing a thief, which is much more in the shadows and similar to rogues from other games where they have a bunch of quick strikes and they can go into stealth and they can backstab and do things like that. We have Duke Baradin here, which we just fought. And he just possessed the statue, so let's go ahead and kill Duke Baradin, who is in the statue right now. Let's go ahead and just stab the base of the statue over and over and over again. We have a bunch of Charr here.
Long ago, and we'll kill you until you get the point.
We have Rithlock Brimstone here, who is a member or former member of Destiny's
Burn
Edge.
down his kingdom and bury the ashes. Make him remember that day.
Destiny's Edge is the guild that Logan Thackeray was in prior to the start of Guild Wars 2.
Forward, legions! Finish him!
And Duke Baradin is at 14% health. Let's go ahead and finish him and finish this mission of the personal story.
Mission accomplished. You're heroes now, boys and girls. Congratulations. Report back to Smokestead.
And with that, we come out into the open world, into Plains of Ashford.
I heard what you did down in that crypt, soldier. Impressive.
Tribune Brimstone was calling the shots. I just did my job.
Don't sell yourself short. You were part of the team that took down Baradin and stopped the ghost assault. Smokestead is safe now, and you helped make it that way. People are still on edge, though. It'd help if they saw someone like you making the rounds, lending a hand. The quicker we get this place squared away, the sooner the legions can get back to business. You can help. I'd rather have volunteers. But if I have to issue an order, I will.
That won't be necessary, Legionnaire. I hereby volunteer.
and here we are. We can go ahead and begin our adventures in the lands of the Charr. Let's go ahead and talk to the scout here and see what this area of the world looks like.
Smokestead lies outside the Black Citadel on land we took back from the humans. It's our base of operations for further expansion into this region. We're pressing east and north, facing resistance from the Flame Legion and an infestation of Ascalonian ghosts. The legions need every soldier to do his or her part.
So this region outside of Smokestead is very similar to Shaymore Valley, so we just played like the little tutorial instance of the game, and now we are in the beginner area, and once we complete this we will go out into harder areas of the Plains of Ashford. But let's go ahead and start doing some tasks. And really quickly, I kind of want to highlight this task in particular, because this task wasn't in the game when the game originally released in 2012. There was a like new player experience update that came out in like 2016 or something like that. I forget the exact year, but they added a few different tasks around the world, and this is one of the tasks. I think they added 2 specifically. So this is really cool because it was added to the game after the fact, but it just goes in seamlessly into like the basic leveling experience, and is actually typically the first task that Charr do nowadays. But we saw that scout talking about not only the ghosts but also the Flame Legion. So I mentioned earlier that the Flame Legion basically controlled Charr society during the original Guild Wars 1 and like before the events of Guild Wars 1. After the Charr invaded Ascalon and took it over, we see a bunch of story happening where the Charr basically have a civil war and an uprising against the Flame Legion. Where basically a group of Charr and a great hero that was supported by many other heroes basically rose up against the Charr and were able to break the bonds of the Flame Legion rulers, and were basically able to make Charr a free society. And we now see that Flame Legion are still around, but they are a hostile enemy force that are basically going to be causing a lot of problems to the Charr throughout Ascalon and beyond. And we are going to see all of those enemies around, and we will go ahead and fight them back towards their home. But there are 3 other legions of the Charr. So the Flame Legion, which is also used to be called the Gold Legion as well, they are the hostile enemy forces, but we have 3 legions that are allies together against the Flame Legion, against the Ascalonian ghosts, against the dragons, and against any threats that arise. So we have the Blood Legion, which are basically a group of warriors that basically just like kind of fight. They're kind of like similar to the Vigil. They don't care about, you know, intricacies. They just pick up their sword and they go stab things, stuff like that. Tribune Ridlock Brimstone is a tribune, a high-ranking member of the Blood Legion, and we will see more of them in the future. The second legion is the Iron Legion, which are basically kind of like engineers and builders, and they create great cannons like we see here, and great like siege machines and like engines of war and stuff like that we will be experiencing a lot of at the start of the story, because the Black Citadel is actually home to the Iron Legion.
Pay attention to me.
So the lands around Ascalon here and around the Black Citadel are mostly in control of the Iron Legion, but the Blood Legion and the Ash Legion do hang out here and do participate in the affairs that are going on in this part of the world. The third legion is the Ash Legion, and that is the legion that I decided to join with this character. The Ash Legions are like spies and like saboteurs that basically hide in the shadows, and they like do infiltration missions, and they like stab people and like stuff like that. And I created a thief to be in the Ash Legion because I thought that was very thematically fitting, and one day we will be learning more about the Ash Legion as well. As we see here, the Black Citadel is the citadel for the Iron Legion, and later on in the game we are going to experience the citadel for the Flame Legion, the Flame Citadel. Currently not in the game, but potentially down the line, we will also be experiencing the citadels of the Ash Legion and the Blood Legion, so hopefully we will be able to see those areas of the world as well. Let's go ahead and finish off this hero challenge, and then I can pick up my rewards here and accept this. So with our thieves, we begin with a dagger in our main hand, and thieves have really unique abilities, because if we come into our build here and take a look at weapon skills, swords, or the skills that you have will change depending on the combination of weapons that you have. So here, let's look at daggers. So currently we have our little auto attack chain here, which is just 3 strikes, and then we have a stealth attack where we can backstab people, dealing double damage to them when we are in stealth. We have Heartseeker, which is basically a leap ability, which will deal a ton of damage and will deal more damage to enemies that have less health. And then the third ability here is called Twisting Fangs, where we spin in place, hitting nearby foes. Each hit causes bleeding. But this ability, Twisting Fangs, actually changes depending on what offhand ability we have. So here we could have an offhand pistol where we would get Shadow Shot, which fires an unblockable shot at your foe, which blinds them, and then we Shadow Step, so teleport to them for a dagger strike. Or you could have an offhand dagger, which would give us access to Death Blossom, which would allow us to do an evasive attack over your target, striking enemy foes 3 times. Each hit causes bleeding. And you can see that with the sword, where we have different sword abilities here, and then pistol as well, and then more in future expansions. And then we also have the short bow here, which is a 2-handed weapon that we can go ahead and learn, as well as other stuff down the line. Let's go ahead and accept this reward here that we just got, and let's go ahead and head to the next area for our next task. So we completed the level 2 task here, and there's no other objectives around there. We completed level 3 here. We got the hero point and the point of interest. Let's go ahead and head over to this other level 2 task here to defeat Flame Legion and deactivate unexploded mortar shells. So we have an unexploded mortar shell here. Let's go ahead and just interact with it, and a Flame Legion spawn here. So let's go ahead and fight them. I can go ahead and just spin in place here, dealing some damage to all of them. And I can loot them and head over to the next one. There's an event going on over there that we could participate in if we wanted, but I'm going to go ahead and come farther this way so that we can deal with this task and all this stuff here. Let's go ahead and fight this Flame Legion. I really enjoy creating a new character and experiencing a new part of the world, because we played a human for 9 episodes now, and I absolutely love that character that we were playing on, but this is like a new and fresh experience, and it just feels really good to be playing through a new region of the world and to be playing on like a new character that has like different skills and stuff, which is always really fun to do. We are half done with this task. Let's go ahead and finish off this unexploded mortar shell here. And then there's no Flame Legion that spawned there, which is good, I guess. Let's come down here, because there are a bunch of shells down here. We can kind of see where Charr are very kind of like scrappy, especially since we are in the region of the world that is controlled by the Iron Legion, where a lot of the structures and stuff that is built up here is built up in the style of the Iron Legion, where we will explore places that were built up by the Flame Legion, and we will see stuff that looks kind of thematically around Flame Legion stuff. And then later on in the game, we will see different stuff that looks like Ash Legion and Blood Legion stuff. Let's go ahead and fight this Flame Legion Blade Storm here. And we just leveled up again, so let's go ahead and accept this reward here. And we are almost done with this task. There are a bunch of Flame Legion down here that, well, it's not for that task, but let's go ahead and just fight them. So being able to play Charr is really interesting, because in the original Guild Wars 1, Charr were the enemies. So humans were the only people you could play as, and Charrs invaded Ascalon and basically killed a bunch of humans and murdered everyone, and you had to run away from them while also killing a bunch of them, and they destroyed your homeland and stuff like that. So people that play the original Guild Wars 1 are kind of turned away from Charr because of like the emotions that they have from the original game. But then also some people that play Guild Wars 1 think it's really cool because you get to play as like the enemy faction. But Charrs and humans are actually allies now in Guild Wars 2. And this is because of the work of Queen Jen, who basically brokered a treaty with the Iron Legion Imperator Smolder the Unflinching. And now humans and Charrs are at a very loose peace. They are at peace with each other, they work together, they're not going to kill each other. However, they still do not have positive feelings for one another, and we can see that occur with 2 different factions in the game. One is called the Separatists, which are a faction of humans that do not believe in the treaty signed between the humans and the Charr, and the other faction is called the Renegades, which are the same exact thing as Separatists. They do not believe in the treaty that was signed between humans and Charrs, but it is now Charrs that are a part of that faction, and we will see them here and there throughout the story, and we will kind of see a lot of the political side of this treaty, where people don't really believe in this treaty, and the treaty is kind of unstable and could fall apart and collapse at any time, but for the most part it is there, and Charrs and humans are fighting together. And those that make a human character can come here to Charlands and they can go ahead and help the Charr out, and vice versa. We could go to Shaymore right now if we wanted to, but I want to explore this part of the world, and I want to finish up this task right here where we only need to do one more thing, and we leveled up to level 6 already. I noticed while we were playing our human character, it seemed like the leveling kind of slowed down the further into the game that we got, which was nice. However, still very, very fast, and the beginning part of the game is still not phenomenal. But here we just got a pistol, so let's go ahead and equip the pistol into our offhand. So we're going to unlock our 4th and 5th ability, though we get the 5th slot at level 8, and our 3rd ability is actually going to change. So let's go ahead and equip that. So we have a new 3rd ability, and we now have headshot, where we can daze our foes with a headshot from our pistol. And let's go ahead and take a look at this vista. So we got that vista, and let's go ahead and come down here. I believe we have finished all the map completion objectives over here. Let's go ahead and come over here and learn how to dodge again. We can do this with every single new character that we created. We can do it once. We did it on our other character, and we can just dodge all these mines, get this chest. We see we dodged some attacks there for our little tutorial adventure guide missions there. Let's go ahead and do it again.
The awesome.
And then let's go ahead and come over here, and we can protect fisher folk from drakes, clean up tar, and fix broken traps around Lake Veritas. I hold a lot of nostalgia for like all the beginning areas of the game, because I have like so many memories and stuff around each one of them. One of my biggest memories is actually here with these fishers. So there's an achievement in the game to resurrect, I think it's like 1,000 fallen allies, and if you resurrect 1,000 of them, it could be players or NPCs, you get the achievement, and you get a title called Combat Medic, I believe, which is a very cool title that I really wanted, and it was like the 2nd title in the game that I got, so it was really cool. But I came here into this area of the road to all these fishers that are constantly dead here. So this fisher that we just revived, let's go ahead and revive him again, and I just revived them over and over and over and over again. Of course I had some revives from other parts of the road, but I got my title from just reviving these fishers, which was a lot of fun, though kind of weird. And also, you know, the amount of people that I revived over the years is like above and beyond 1,000, so reviving all these fishers like wasn't like, you know, the best use of my time, but I still enjoyed it quite a bit, and it is like a very positive memory in my head now that I enjoy having. So let's go ahead and fight this hatchling. We kind of came out of the task area a little bit. Let's come back over here, and we can fight this drake hatchling here, trying to kill this fisher, and we can repair this broken cage. And then there's some tar pools over here. We can kind of see a little bit of like a side story that goes on in this area of the world of like environmental like disasters. So we see in this lake here there is a lot of oil. Charr, especially the Iron Legion, are a very industrious race where they have a lot of machines and a lot of like engineering and stuff going on. And we can see around this region of the world where that industrialization is causing a negative effect on the environment, which we can see here in this lake with these tar pools. But we are done with this task, so let's go ahead and get our rewards and get our level up rewards, and let's head up here into this cool area of the world where there are some flame legion around here. And this world is actually really interesting because I'm gonna go ahead and come through this cave because I want to show something off over here. So here we have this cave nearby these old ruined human walls here. Let's go ahead and fight this flame legion here. If you take a look at our map right here, we can kind of see this very long structure here that's called the Great Northern Wall, and it was a very important location in Guild Wars 1 because the Charr were north of the wall, the humans were south of the wall for the most part, and the wall fell in Guild Wars 1 when the Charr invaded, and now it is just a monument to the Ascalonians that existed in that time. Let's go ahead and pick up this chest here. And then this is what I wanted to show off. So this area of the road here is actually one of the 2 places you could enter into the greater part of Plains of Ashford in the original release of the game, but they actually decided to block it off and just make this kind of like an enclosed cave with like the one entrance here, and they actually open up and like changed part of the road where there was like a mountain, and now there's like a gap through the mountain that you can go through to get to the next task area. And the other area that we could get into Plains of Ashford is still exactly the same, where we went at the very start of this episode to get to Duke Barradin. But let's go ahead and finish off all these power sources, and I believe there is a hero challenge nearby or something, not entirely sure, but we can go ahead and finish off this one. This is the final task of the beginning area, I believe. We have completed 5 tasks already. Let's go ahead and finish this one, this turret off, and then there are 2 power sources here that we can go ahead and disable, and disabling them spawns an ember here. So we can see the Flame Legion kind of living up to their name, have a lot to do with like fire magic and sorcery and stuff like that. So as we fight Flame Legion, we're going to be dealing a lot with fire, so having some fire extinguishers around might be nice to fight against them. Let's go ahead and come down here. We have another Flame Legion power source here that we can go ahead and disable. There's a fisher there we could revive that I think we'd probably get progress towards this task, but let's not do that. And let's go ahead and finish this one off.
Fire and smoke.
And there is a Flame Legion Shaman over here. We can go ahead and mount up, even though we're not level 10. We unlocked it on our other character, so we now have it.
I'll cook your bones. I'll burn your souls in a cauldron of stone. There is no mercy for you here. There is only the judgment of fire. Now burn.
So we have a little bit of a boss right here that we can go ahead and fight.
The
Let's go
Iron
ahead
Legion
and
will
seek
fire
on them and
cleansed.
then headshot them.
The last thing you'll hear is the crackle and pop of your own flesh.
So that was a very easy boss there because we had 2 allies with us. And there are some
Well
Iron
said.
Legionnaires here.
Let's get back to
Let's go ahead and fight this Flame Legion here.
for victories like this.
And then let's come up over here, and I think I saw this turret was respawned, so let's go ahead and fight this turret. This task takes a little bit of time to complete, but we are pretty much there. Let's go ahead and fight these embers that this individual is spawning, though we did just finish the task, so let's go ahead and get that reward there. And then let's go ahead and head down here. And we have, for the most part, completed the starting area of the Charr here, so let's go ahead and head out into Plains of Ashford proper. I'll go ahead and mount up onto my raptor, and we can come through this area of the road over here, which is the area that I was talking about that is now opened up for us to come through. Let's go ahead and get this waypoint and then talk to the scout to see what is going on over here.
Welcome to the real Ashford. This land's been ravaged by humans for centuries. We intend to reclaim it from their ghosts and finally have our homeland back. These hills are treacherous, so get ready to do your part for the legions. You are an important cog in the machine.
And there we go. We can go ahead and fight all these Ascalonian ghosts here and help deal with this threat. So something very special about the Guardian that we were playing were the virtues that we had unlocked, which were our F1, F2, and F3 abilities. Well, with Thieves, we have a bunch of new stuff that we can go ahead and experience, and these ghosts are much stronger than what we were fighting earlier. And my inventory is full, so I should probably try to deal with this. We have a 4-slot bag. I'll just hold on to this for now until we get to a place where we can sell stuff. But here we have our F1 ability, which is called Steal. So shadow step to your foe and steal from them. So let's go ahead and do that. So we just teleported directly behind them, and we unlocked a new ability here called Skull Fear. So we can use this, and it will basically, well, it just killed that one, but it will basically, what that would have done, it would fear them, which would cause them to involuntarily run away. And Steal is a really, really interesting ability because the second ability here that it unlocks when you steal a skill from an enemy is very, very unique depending on like what enemy you are fighting. And there are a ton of different skills that you can access to this ability depending on what enemy you are fighting. So here against these Ascalon ghosts, we are unlocking Skull Fear, which will basically just make them run away, but we will unlock some stuff like a whirlwind ability or a boulder and a ton of other stuff as well. And it's just very, very fun and very, very cool because it adds a lot of like variety into gameplay, and like you kind of learn like some good skills that you can get from some enemies. Like there is a raid boss in this game where the steal skill is actually really good, and makes thieves that aren't like the strongest when it comes to like very difficult in-game content, though they are very still like viable options. There's just like stronger options, but against that raid boss it makes them even a little bit better. We are almost done with this task. Let's go ahead and come over here and we can fight some more ghosts over here. They just despawn because of the event that spawned. Let's come over here and we can fight this peasant here. We have a lot of shadow step abilities. So we have this steel here that allows us to shadow step the enemies that are 1200 units away. We have shadow shot here, which is a 900 range ability, so we just have even more and more and more. You have probably noticed these diamonds that are above our skill bar here called initiative. Whenever we use any of our abilities that are 2 through 5 here, so not our auto attack, we use up initiative, so we can only use abilities so much. It's like an energy bar. So if I just spam Heartseeker here, I use up all the initiative, and we have to wait a moment for it to respawn before I can use it again. So Heartseeker uses up 3 of those initiative points. Our new ability here called Black Powder uses up 6, and this ability basically allows us to fire a black powder shot, blinding any of our targets and nearby foes with smoke. And this is a very cool ability when we take into account the existence of combo fields. So thieves here with a dagger and a pistol have access to a very cool and very basic combo field where we can put down a combo field of smoke here on the ground, and then we can use a combo finisher found on our second ability here with Heartseeker to leap through the smoke, giving us stealth. So we are now invisible for a few seconds, and we could do Heartseeker multiple times through this to get a little bit more stealth, and we can just rack up a few seconds of stealth. And then with our stealth, if we come like over here for example, and we do that and then backstab, and it can deal a bunch of extra damage to any enemies that we fight, which is really cool. And this is a very cool basic combo ability that exists for thieves that is a ton of fun to play around with, especially in PvP. Let's go ahead and get our rewards here, and then let's go ahead and get this waypoint, and then let's come in over here a little bit because there is one more point of interest over here that I kind of just want to come around to get instead of like zigzagging back and forth. And let's come over here into this really cool looking building here, which is a tavern here. 3 Legions Court, and we can see there are a bunch of Ash Legion and some Blood Legion and some Iron Legion that hang out in this tavern. And let's go ahead and clean up our inventory real quick for a moment. And we have access to some new stuff here that we can go ahead and just equip. Let's go ahead and take a look at the sword next. That's another dagger. I want to equip the sword. Try to equip the spear there, but we can put the spear there. We can see we only have access to a spear right here as a thief. Let's go ahead and close that, and then let's take a look at these gloves. So let's go ahead and accept these rogue gloves, and then let's go ahead and select some stats. I'm just going to do the same exact thing with power and precision, and then these are better boots. Let's take a look at this helm. So we have a bandana that we can go ahead and equip here. Let's go ahead and do just that, and then let's go ahead and clean through the rest of our inventory. So now we are looking pretty fine here. Let's go ahead and run over to our next task. If you haven't noticed yet, Charr run on 4 legs when they do not have any weapons out, which is really cool. And you can kind of tell, if you haven't noticed by now, Charr are a feline race. They're basically giant cats. Let's go ahead and run over here, and we can run south to get this vista, this point of interest here, and this task, and explore some of the areas around here as well. Here we are at an Ash Legion camp here, so we can see some Ash Legion tents are built up here, and we have a bunch of soldiers around here, and we can help them defeat ghosts and help them on patrols and stuff like that. So I feel pretty at home here. Let's go ahead and come up here and take a look at this area with this vista here. Plains of Ashford is really cool because of all the vistas around here that are kind of like small jumping puzzles, where in Queensdale a bunch of the vistas are really easy to get to, but some of the vistas in this map require a little bit more jumping than normal to get to. Let's take a look at this vista. I've been really enjoying making my Vista Guide series for many different reasons, but it's fun to kind of go through all the vistas in the authentic style of like the 2012 game, where we just ran up here, but with mounts introduced we could just jump straight up to it. And doing Plains of Ashford and that episode was a lot of fun for me, and I enjoyed it a lot, and it's even more fun coming through here and a Let's Play series and exploring that as well. And let's go ahead and get this waypoint, and then we can come over to this area of the road, because there's another waypoint that is hidden a little bit back here that is related to guild mission stuff, which is not going to be anything that we're going to worry about right now, but we can still go ahead and explore it all. So here's the waypoint, and if we run farther in we can explore the region of this map here, and it's now on our map art. Let's go ahead and run out. We leveled up to level 9, and we can get some harvesting tools here that we can go ahead and just equip, but we're in combat, so once we're out of combat we can go ahead and equip that. And then let's go ahead and go fight some of these humans over here. So we have some Ascalon fighters here that we can just hit with our sword. And let's come over here and fight this one. So we have a very basic sword auto attack chain here, similar to the dagger auto attack chain. We have a new stealth attack here, so tactical strikes, blind your foes by bashing them with your sword hilt, daze them instead if you attack them from behind, applies vulnerability. A lot of stuff going on there. We also have Infiltrator Strike here, where we can Shadow Step to a foe and strike them, use Shadow Return to Shadow Step back and cure one condition. So this is a really cool ability here. So for example, against this Ascalon archer, you can go ahead and use it, and then you can fight it, and then once it dies we can go ahead and return back. Very cool and very fun. Here we have Pistol Whip, so Pistol Whip your foe, stunning them, and then slash repeatedly with your sword. So a very cool ability where you like stun them, and then when they're stunned you can hit them a bunch of times. And if we go ahead and take our pistol off, we can see a very old bug here. Let's go ahead and fight this Ascalon fighter here, and then we just learned the new skill of stab. So it is just stab your foe. So let's come up here, and then we can just stab. There we go. Basic amount of damage there, and we can go ahead and just put our pistol back on our skill bar. We are in combat. I don't think anything's fighting us right now though, and we are out of combat now. And let's go ahead and finish up this area of the road. This is an interesting place because I've never been too sure kind of what this area of the road is of Decimus Stones. There's like a little bit of lore around here, and we can see there's like, it's like an important place for like Ascalon and Ascalonians, but there's not like too much going on around here that we can know about for certain, unless I have missed something, of course. But we can go ahead and fight all of these statues, and then just fight a few more ghosts so we can finish up this story step. Let's go ahead and come into this cave here where we can fight this peasant, and then we can stun and then slash a bunch and then return. And that's a lot of fun. We can go ahead and rest this scout here. Let's go ahead and fight this mage that's attacking us though, and we can go ahead and do the same thing to him. Sword is very fun to play with, and it's just a very like high mobility because there's like a lot of stuff you can do. So like I'll just come over here, and then I can run away, and then I can shadow step, and then I can shadow step back, except I got hit by the wall there. Let's go ahead and finish these two off. And then we can destroy the statue here, and we only need to do like one more thing in order to finish this task. Let's come over here and see if we can find another statue like this one right here, and we can break it, and there we go. We have finished this task. Let's go ahead and come this way, and we can leave this area of the Decimus Stones, and we can go explore the next region of the world, which I might actually waypoint to. So our next task is over here near Duke Barridan's crypt that we saw. We can actually run down into the crypt real quick so we can get the point of interest, because it was not available in the tutorial instance, but we can kind of see what is going on here. And this crypt is really cool because Plains of Ashford has 2 meta events that go on. Neither of them are really important meta events. They don't reward too much stuff. But this one is called Battle in the Vault. And
stop right there, Charr.
Wow.
Well, that's as good a place to die as any.
So I came down into this crypt, and the Ascalonians just rematerialized here. And we can go ahead and go participate in this meta event.
They're stirring in the crypts. Muster every able soldier. Watch your step.
So similar to the tutorial instance, we can go ahead and run down into this crypt, and we can go ahead and fight our way to the end of it. Let's run down here, and we have some Ascalonian fighters here, and we have Ivor True Shot here that we can fight. And I'm going to go ahead and fear them all away, and fear them to the wall. And then I am kind of just spamming keys right now. We have a bunch of Ascalonians here, so I can just go ahead and kind of keep them down a little bit. Our heal skill is a signet,
Witness the skill of
so
a true
we heal
marksman.
whenever we attack, but we can go ahead and use the signet when we need in order to heal up a bunch.
I am not the last.
And I went down there, so this friend here can revive me. And downstate thieves have access to another teleport ability and have access to an ability to become invisible. And we just have a basic knife that we can throw, and then we can always bandage ourselves. Let's go ahead and come this way to fight the next one, Armsman Pitten. Some of these Ascalonians that we will be seeing throughout all the Charr maps are actually important characters from original Guild Wars 1, or unimportant, but they're still characters that existed in Guild Wars 1. Duke Barridan was a really important character from the original game, and we see him here now as a ghost in the second game, which is a very nice callback to people that played the original Guild Wars 1.
There's
And we just
nothing
got
quite as
11 here because we
enjoyable as
leveled up to
putting
level
a
10
spear
and
in the
unlocked our
gut of a
personal
Charr.
story mission there.
Buster!
Let's go ahead and we can just stun them all, and we can finish off this human here. And we can go ahead and use our slash ability, and this is the last event as we come down into this last little chamber up here that we saw. There's a bunch of Ascalonians here. Let's go ahead and try to finish off this one right here, and then we can go ahead and fight all of these smaller ones that spawn as well. So we see a bunch of guards over there, and we have a chest right here that we can go ahead and loot actually. And we can go ahead and accept our level up reward. We unlock the Raptor mount technically again, though we've had access to it. And let's come in here and let's fight Horus.
I was here. Oh yes. Yes, I was here when the Charr came. It burned.
You lose. Medic!
Go ahead and just try to fight against all these ghosts. I can go ahead and stun them all here, and then I am kind of low on health right now, so let's go ahead and shadow step a little bit away, but I just went up, but I went down again, so let's go ahead and shadow step a little bit away there, and then we can go ahead and fight against all these ghosts. And I might actually die here for the first time in the series. Let's go ahead and go invisible. I don't have a bandage, and I died. So I think that is actually the first time I have ever died in the series. So when we die, we can just go ahead and waypoint, and then we can run back to where we were at. So I just waypointed to the nearest waypoint, and we can go ahead and run back down into these crypts, and we can go ahead and fight these ghosts down here where our ally was fighting as well. Thief is one of the professions that I have not played too much of, so Guardian I have played quite a bit of. Thief I have played quite a bit of, to be fair, but nowhere near as much as I have played Guardian. Let's go ahead and finish Horus off.
Go back. Don't take me back.
And Barridan's army has been driven back. The ghosts have abandoned the vaults. Let's go ahead and get the splendid chest here, and then we can get a level up reward here because we leveled up to level 11. And then we can go ahead and clear our inventory out and then figure out what we want to do next. So let's go ahead and return to the Ash Legion camp over here, where I feel very at home at, and there's a merchant over here that we can go ahead and talk to, and I can go ahead and buy some stuff from them, and we can reinforce our armor as well while we're here, and I can just clear up my inventory a little bit.
Dismissed.
So my inventory is cleaned up now. If you take a look at our map, we are 31% complete with Plains of Ashford. We completed the tutorial instance,
Smells like
and we
trouble.
completed the starting area here near the village of Smokestead, and we completed the first couple of tasks out here. The next thing we have to do in this map is the scout here, but I think as far as this episode goes, I'm going to go ahead and call it good here. I hope you all enjoyed watching this episode as much as I enjoyed making it, and I hope you all are taking good care of yourselves. I hope you drink some water, and I will see you all next time in our adventures of Guild Wars 2. Goodbye.